Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Takeaway from the month of September as well as, of course.
Good morning, everyone. I got Nick on the other side of this fence, and we're rocking and rolling, adding people in. Today, training is takeaway of the day, or it Ask Me Anything. We have done Friday training for almost 28 years. It'll be October 11th to be exact. If you have any questions, if you want any of the guides or exercises, go ahead. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We are in Denver. We're doing a meetup here in Colorado, going out to meet Prime Time, Deion Sanders, Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp, out at the University of Colorado and doing a meetup here. Come and join us in Denver. We'd love to see you. It's been a long month this week, and I want to thank all the people at Aspire. We've been in San Diego, Chicago, Indy, Minneapolis, and Denver. And that was almost in about 52 hours. So it's pretty cool. We would love to see you. Text me if you'd like alerts on what cities we're going to be in. 298-2905, 949-298-2905. So we'd love to see you there. We're going to go ahead and join Nick and get this takeaways of the month and Ask Me Anything started. Thank you so much, Nick of WOM. Let's get this party started. Who has the first, or should I give you the first takeaway?
I think you should kick us off. So unmute.
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah. So why don't you kick us off, David, with the first takeaway of the month of September?
You know, I'm blessed to be around so many unbelievable, wonderful people. And my takeaway is I'm trying to think my favorite one. And I'm going to have to check my text rule. I'm not sure if it logged me off, but I have to see this here on my threads, or I should have had you read it off. Oh, yeah. It's you. Am I still on? Yep, cool. All right. You make money, but you engineer wealth. That's my takeaway for the month. All the guys at Aspire, Andrew Cordell, they've been helping me engineer wealth. I've always been able to make money, but all the bolt-ons, all the understanding of architecture that is necessary to engineer wealth. And it's not just economic wealth. It's health wealth, social wealth, spiritual health, mental health. Know that wealth does not just come. You can't just buy it. You can't just make it. It has to be engineered, and we need to architect it, which means we have to architect it with our behaviors consistently, persistently, in the pursuit of our potential. Remember, you can't make money. You can make money, but you got to engineer all types of wealth. Nick of WOM, what was your takeaway of the month?
You know, we are obviously very kindred spirits, you and I, Mr. Meltzer, and I will tell you word for word, that was my takeaway of the month. So I'll hit
What's
you.
What's the AMA then?
We do have always somebody on deck. So I still have.
You could ask me a hiring question.
I could ask you a good question. So actually, let me pull one up here because we have an incredible partnership with our friends on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is truly where you can get the most qualified professional candidates. And they truly help businesses, the business owners, reduce the time and effort it takes to get the right person. And so we all know how critical that is. And so they're always submitting different questions for you so we can get your insights, as of course you are one of the top voices on LinkedIn. So one of the questions that was submitted was, how important is past experience versus identifying future potential, and how do you screen for the two?
What a great question. And I am not just pimping out LinkedIn because I'm a great partner and they've been a great partner, but I'm pimping it out because people don't realize it's the biggest database of talent in the world. Not just talent that's looking for jobs, but where we find people who aren't looking for jobs. Saying past the resume. It's easy on LinkedIn to see past experience, but past experience means nothing unless you can find out the meaning that people give it. You see, people limit themselves by the meaning that this past experience has given them. And so the nice thing about and why I use LinkedIn to find those qualified candidates, to find professional partnerships, associations, to work with closely, is that I can have conversations to understand the meaning of their past, because that is how I can align their capabilities of the past with where we as a company want to be in the future. The greatest compliment that I get is about the people that I work with, the people I associate myself with. The greatest joy I have is when I'm able and capable of helping those people. That's why I teach receiving and asking for more, because we cheat other people the ability to be able and capable of helping other people. And so to understand the past is only relevant. Your past skills, your past knowledge, even your past desires are irrelevant unless I know the meaning that you give it, because it's that meaning that will limit their self-image and their imagination, and they will never overachieve that. And so I look in mostly towards LinkedIn to find people's past experience, people that are looking and not looking, but I use it to have a conversation about the meaning that they're giving it to see what their potential is in the future. What a great question. I want to thank LinkedIn always for submitting so many great questions. Big part of the IG Lives, big part of the meetups, holding courts, and now a big part of our Friday training. 28 years, Nick, on 10/11/1011. That's an amazing day. It's a sign of an angel, and this has been the biggest blessing of my life, Free Friday training. So I'm so happy that we have all these platforms. So hundreds of thousands of people now register for it. We appreciate that. And Nick Awam, you're in charge. So go ahead, tell me who's up next.
Yep, we're going to stay live here on Clubhouse with the Breakfast with Champions, which is, of course, the best room and community in Clubhouse. And it's my pleasure to always see a very friendly face, and that's our Meltzer double, Mr. Eric Meltzer. No family affiliation, just kindred spirits at heart. Mr. Meltzer double, how are you, my friend? Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and give us your takeaway or your question for today.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nick and Dave. Yeah. Happy Friday. So my takeaway of the month is that surprises can just pop up when you least expect it. If I'm in alignment and not getting in the way of the universe, and opportunities just come my way, and it's a really joyful thing. So that's what I got.
Oh, I love it. And I like the fact that your perspective is to find the light, the love, and the lessons, even when there's no evidence, as you suggest, or sometimes in our lives, the evidence is contrary to where we want to be. It's so nice to know that when time, emotion, and value change instantly from an expectation, an agreement, a decision, that we can see the light. We can see the love and the lessons that will take us in a divine direction, making what may appear to others as a detour and finding that divinity in it as well, accelerating, aggregating, compounding exponentially these outcomes that we could never anticipate. And so, as you have said, there is no certainty in the future. The only certainty is our mindset, our heart set, and our hand set. There's only the ability to use gratitude to find the light, the love, and the lessons, to use forgiveness for all the mistakes that we made, the misjudgments, miscalculations, misanalysis, and move forward in a positive, productive, protected, promoted, loved, and perfected way. So blessed to have you as a namesake there, Eric Meltzer. In fact, Eric Meltzer, I love people shadowing me and love people coming out like today in Denver to our meetup. He's actually going to go and shadow us in Guatemala. So as we float through these cities over the weeks, in Denver today and filming Go Fund Yourself, tons of people are coming to that at Los Alamitos, the #1 show on Cheddar. And we have New York and Guatemala, Miami with Lamborghini. Can't wait for that. We got Washington, D.C. coming up. 200 cities this year. I'm trying to break that record. I'm on my way, especially this week. You can hear it in my voice. We're getting there. It's Friday. Free Training Friday, and Nick Awam, find me someone as good as that.
Oh my goodness. Now, comparison is the thief of joy, so we would never compare.
Oh, that's a good takeaway.
But with that said, we do have the incredible Colleen, who is patiently waiting. Colleen, happy Friday. Always good to see you here. Feel free to unmute yourself and give us that takeaway for the month of September or your question.
Thank you. Awesome feedback, takeaways, questions. So hard to follow up, but I'll try. Okay, so my takeaway, my kind of quote of the week is, one day you'll do something time and you won't know it. And
well, I think it broke up for me. Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry, Colleen.
Yeah, sure. One day you'll do something for the last time and you won't know it.
Ooh.
And in reflecting on that, just thinking about what would you do differently if you had that awareness every single time you're in an experience. So I loved that. It resonated with me deeply this week, and wanted to share that.
Yeah, there's several books that take that lesson into account. Semil, what's Semil's last name, wrote that great book about when he realized Bloom, Semil Bloom. And he wrote his book about that. And when we look at, wow, if I only see his parents lived in another city and he only saw his parents once a year and they were in their 70s, and he realized most likely he was only going to see his parents at most 15 more times. I look in the other direction at your quote having children. Several things, about having children. If you want to know the difference between nature and nurture, have more than one child. And Colleen, I think you're about to learn that lesson about nature and nurture by having a second child. But the other thing is, when you have children, there's every day the last time. This will be, and why is that relevant in the meaning of the past? Because you need to understand that I get to do these things. Even though this child's so relative and so associated, even though that they are creating an immense amount of struggle, it's the greatest feeding that we have. And when we realize that driving them, to school, taking them to their games, helping them with their homework, dealing with, the greatest lesson of having children, learning to love what you don't like or love about what you love. Marriage is one thing about learning to love what you don't like or love about what you love the most, but children take it to the next level. And so there's a lot of different layers in why it's important to know this may be the last time, because it shifts and allows us to appreciate what minor or little things like taking the trash out could actually be significant in fulfilling our lives with passion, purpose, and even profitability. What a great revelation. Remember, this could be the last time you hear our Friday training. So hopefully you'll appreciate it. Probably not, because I want to get to at least 30 years, 28 years, October 11th. I've been doing this free Friday trainings. Not every one of them have been on Friday, but I haven't missed a week in over 27 years, almost 28 years, coming up soon enough. Mr. Wom, that means well-oiled machine. By the way, are we going to do a well-oiled machine today? Oh, my favorite podcast, my fastest growing podcast. We've done thousands of podcasts, The Playbook, Office Hours, Multiple Divisions, The Real Deal, and Human Experience, The Soul of Business. We got all types of human Game Set Life with Rick Macy, with Venus and Serena Williams. But the Nick of Wom, I'm telling you, for the small percentage of the community out there that loves time, wants to learn how you can get the most out of time, come and join the Nick of Wom and myself on the Well-Oiled Machine. All right, my brother, it's all up to you. Who are we going to bring up next?
We are going to bring up a very good friend, but recently a little bit of a long lost friend. We hope to see him on October 6th as we come to New York City for our Adweek VIP dinner. Of course, you know who I'm talking about. That is Brent Nichols. Brent, it is always good to see you here, my friend. We miss you very much, and I'm just playing, having some fun, showing some love. But unmute yourself and give us that takeaway of the month or your question for today.
Hey guys, I miss you guys, and actually it goes right into the Womness, the time, right? The time. Is there so many activities and so many freaking things going on? So my takeaway of the month is, getting back to, the authenticity of yourself and just doing the things that you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be doing it, and losing the fear of the past and the perceived fear of the future and all that good stuff. So I've been spending a lot of time in the 5 daily practices, David, so thank you for kind of inventing that. So that's like the takeaway is just like a lot of reflection on time, which actually is probably like some of the reasons why I'm like MIA a little bit, but then I'm feeling a little under the weather too today. But hey guys, but thank you so much. I really do appreciate everything you do, and I'm glad to be part of this community. So thank you. Thank you,
Brent. And I think it's important because within that idea lies these non-negotiable behaviors. And I think a lot of time that we spend utilizing time not in alignment with where we want to be is because we don't have certain non-negotiables. We don't put a minimum amount of time committed 7 days a week. I went on vacation with my wife to celebrate her birthday, our 28th anniversary. And I still spend a minimum amount of time on my finances, on the activity I get paid for. But it was the most amount of time that I spent on my sleep, my health, and my family. The most amount of time, because I have a minimum amount of time that I spend every day on my sleep, my health, and my family, my faith, and the study of time and relativity. But the majority of my day is spent on activity I get paid for beyond that 12 hours of non-negotiable behavior, the majority of it being sleep. And so for me, the greatest paradigm shift when I was stuck in what I felt like that vacuum of too much to do, I'll be happy when, and lying to myself, was when I made a commitment 7 days a week to have non-negotiable behaviors. And if anyone would like the 5 daily practices, especially knowing our how to have non-negotiable and negotiable behavior, how to have a relationship with circumstance, how to understand relativity, association, feeding, and bleeding, just email me. I'll send you what Brent is talking about. And these practices, this ability every day, will create 90% of your growth. So you don't have to worry about it. Everything else is the icing on top or the cherry on top. And so, Brent, you are always welcome. We miss you. We pray with you, collaborate and coordinate all the energy. And hopefully you will find the time to come and see us. I'm keynoting Ad Week in New York City and having a VIP dinner for the Unstoppable Foundation as always. And you are such a great part of our community on our Monday group, always elevating the awareness to what so many people struggle with, what they're listening for. Thank you for your vulnerability and transparency. Look forward to seeing you October 6th. All right, Brent, I love you, man. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Love you too, man.
Feel
Thank
better.
You so much.
You got it.
Thank you.
Right on. Let's go. Nick of Woe.
Let's keep this thing rocking and rolling. We are, let's see, we're about halfway through almost the second quarter here with this takeaway of the month / Ask Me Anything. So as a quick reset of the room, as a reminder for everybody, if you are joining us online, as of course we are live everywhere, make sure to put your takeaway of the month or your question for David today into the chat. And for all of our friends on the Best Room and Community and Clubhouse, the Breakfast with Champions, please make sure to, of course, use the hand icon in the lower right-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage. Or if you are already on stage, please just put a quick note in the room chat and I will be happy to pass the mic over your way. Now, next up here, we're going to stay live in the Breakfast with Champions. And I know that our friend Rob either has a question or a takeaway of the month. So Rob, happy Friday, my friend. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away.
Happy Friday. I actually have one of, oops, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all you, man. Go ahead.
I was just actually have one of each, if that's okay. So
Yeah.
The first is the takeaway. So a little patience can go a long way. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Right?
That's so good. Yes. Go ahead. What's your question tied to that?
Yeah, I was going to say, so on that note, a question, I'm looking for a little bit of help here, David. I have a client that I need to fire, okay? And I don't want to, completely burn the bridge because they've already sent me 2 clients that I love working with. And I was wondering if you could kind of help guide me on the best way to articulate the transition away from like working together directly and having more of like an overlap or mutual referral agreement in place. So could you give me a little bit of guidance there, please?
Yeah. Well, first of all, for a little bit more context to understand, what is your relationship now that you'd like to fire them from?
Yeah. So there's basically 2 relationships. One is the white label, where they're basically sending me clients of theirs that need help with the service that I provide. So like, that's what I want to keep in place.
Okay.
What I don't want to keep in place is me running the sales team for that organization. I could talk about why if you'd like, but let me know if that's valid.
I don't need to know why at all. So one, the first side is fine. You could, create a mutual referral agreement, an overlap agreement, and just say, look, I love how you white label this. Now, the choices you have on the sales side is 1, have somebody else do it and make a margin. Two, raise your price so it's worth it to you, or 3, raise your price so much that they fire you and they say, we'd rather just do the referral agreement because we make more money from that and we can't afford you.
Interesting. That's a really good idea because, like,
that's why they pay me the big bucks, bro.
No doubt. Good stuff. Awesome, man. So one last, like, let's call it part B to the question. Would you be willing or open to sending me over a mutual referral agreement or overlap agreement that I could use as like a template of sorts?
Yeah. So thank you for asking, by the way. You know, it's so funny because we when we put out content, we forget that very few people actually see it. Even, you know, my 40 million view video, I think that everybody in the world saw that, but they didn't. There's 7.6 billion people out there. And even if 40 million people view a video, they may not remember it. They may not have actually looked at it, but for a second, you know, it's ridiculous. So I offer everyone the overlap agreement, and it's a memorialization of what today exists with the open-ended ability to change according to the circumstances when time, value, and emotion change in the agreement. So it's a memorialization of what we're going to try to do and intend to do together. So I would love to send that to you. Everybody out there that would like what I call the overlap or the mutual memorialization agreement, email me. Please write this down, Rob. David@dmeltzer.com, and I will send you that agreement, and you can use it as a template for all of these types of opportunities. What a great comments, questions. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And of course, there's several ways to fire a client without them even knowing it. Thanks so much, Rob. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. How about the other Rob, Wammer?
I was just going to say, Robert, thank you for your patience, my friend. You were just joining stage as I was given the other Rob the microphone. So, Robert, I believe you are unmuting yourself as I see. It is great to see you here, my friend. I hope all that's up there in the bay. And what's your takeaway for the month, or what's your question today?
Well, my takeaway of the month is not everything happens the way you want it to. But when you try to shift your mindset, things that happen the way you wanted to will end up happening anyway. It's just a different way. So that's my takeaway. And what I've been getting into this month is learning how to be a better salesperson. You know, and for years and years, I hated sales. For some reason, I didn't want to be that slimy salesperson that's like trying to pitch deals and stuff like that. But along my path, I kind of inadvertently pitch deals as a salesperson without even really knowing that's what I'm doing. And friends of mine were like, "Whoa, you're really good at that." So, anyways, I'm trying to get some high ticket sales positions just to get some capital to help promote and support my farming operation, which is desperately in need of capital. So.
Nice.
I don't know if you have any suggestions, David, about
I do.
getting better at sales and stuff like that, or even maybe some opportunities.
I do. And I will tell you a little adjustment to your takeaway is that everything happens better than I thought it would. I just don't know it. So my philosophy is that there's no evidence. Evidence is contrary to where I think I want to be, but it's just a lapse of time between the struggle and the solution, because every struggle, every problem, the solution exists in it. It's just a lapse of time before I see the resolution, the resolution to that problem or that struggle. So when things happen that I don't anticipate happening, when things happen that are contrary to what I want to happen, I know it's happening better than I thought. And so this is the definition of faith, that no matter what is happening in my life, that I'm protected, promoted, loved, and perfected, but I'm not omniscient. I'm connected to the omniscient. I'm interfering with the omniscient, but I know that I'm protected, promoted, loved, and perfected with whatever is occurring, even if it doesn't even appear to be anything but punishment. It's not. It's promotion, protection, love, and perfection. It's better than I thought it would be. I just haven't allowed time to lapse long enough to see that unbelievable resolution that's coming our way. As far as sales go, you know, when people talk about slimy salespeople, you know, what they're talking about is that a lot of salespeople feel as if they have to oversell, back-end sell, lie, manipulate, and cheat us. And they do it out of scarcity because they don't understand value. I've created a 5 to Thrive sales system to teach you the 5 steps, and utilizing an open-minded, open-ended question guide within the context of stimulating interest, transitioning interest, sharing a vision, managing and developing a vision so that people buy from you and sell for you for life, which means you're going to thrive. You'll create a legacy if you have a community of people that buy from you and sell for you for life. And by utilizing the open-minded, open-ended question guide in the 5 to Thrive system, we understand that we just have to be more interested than interesting. We have to find out how we can articulate, I'm going to repeat that word, articulate quantitative value to exceed what we're asking for. But we also have to know value. We have to know that there's a simple way to articulate value, either by giving someone more of what they like or taking away what they don't like, giving someone more of what they know or taking away what they don't know, giving someone more of what's working or taking away what's not working. And when we practice articulating that quantitative value of what's they like, don't like, what works, what doesn't work, what they know and doesn't know, we are able and capable of articulating a value to exceed what we're asking for. And then we also are cognizant that time, emotion, and value changes. So we can use a go, no-go plan to manage and develop the time, emotion, and value that changes to continue to stay aligned in that articulation of value so that people not only buy from us, but sell for us for life. We get the exponentiality of outcomes in sales, which creates an unbelievable amount of abundance for us and the people that are in our community. I would love for anyone, if you'd like my 5 to Thrive sales system, if you would like the open-minded, open question guide, if you would like the go, no-go plan, I send them out for free. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I promise you it'll be your fastest way to not selling, but making a lot of money by having people buying from you and selling for you for life. In other words, you'll make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and it'll be a lot more fun than lying, cheating, manipulating, overselling, and back-end selling so that people, including yourself, don't feel like you're slimy. Speaking of someone who's not slimy, we got Slick Nick on the next line. The Nick of WOM, a well-oiled machine at the very youngest, the finest and best student that I've ever had in thousands of employees. And I mean that. This kid, he understands it. He's incredible. He's ruining my marriage because he takes care of so much when I travel. I barely can travel with my wife anymore because I feel like I'm being punished. And also my oldest daughter works for me. So every time I compliment Nick and say he's my best student, she's like, what about me? Of course, I tell her that she's second best. Anyway, doesn't help that relationship anyway. Nick of WOM, thanks for ruining my marriage and my relationship with my daughters. Here you go.
It's a pleasure and an honor. As we hit halftime, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a quick reset of the room. Of course, thank you for joining us for another edition of David Meltzer's Free Friday Trainings. We are almost to the 28-year anniversary coming up in about 2 weeks, October 11th, of this incredible training series. Today's topic is takeaway of the month of September and or ask me anything. So if you have a takeaway that you'd like to share today or a question for David, of course, if you're joining us online, make sure to put that in the room chat. And for all of our friends on Clubhouse, please, if you are on stage, just put a quick note in the room chat. And of course, if you're in the audience, use the hand icon to request to join the stage, and we will, of course, bring you up.
Now, Nick, people are asking where the meetup is and what time today, Lindsay Winkler and others.
Absolutely. So for today, the meetup is going to be at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it's going to be at Waddle Park, which is 2940 Cottonwood Drive. And I will put the address here, both in the notes as well as the chat here on Clubhouse, for any of our friends that are local here in Colorado and would like to join us for our community meetup. Now, with that said, as our next question, we have so many requests here, both online as well as on Clubhouse. We're going to stay live on Clubhouse as we have Jasmine, who's been patiently waiting. Jasmine, thank you so much for your patience. It's great to see you here. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway of the month or your question for David today.
My biggest takeaway is what David has already said. I believe two important things were said here this morning. Number one, wealth is engineered. And number two, it was said by Colleen that some of these things that we are doing here, we're doing them for the last time. I feel like AI is revolutionizing the world, and the world is moving at such a fast pace that some of these systems and some of our ways of life, we'll never know them again. So I agree with David wholeheartedly. Wealth is engineered. And I followed David's career for years now. Since I came on Clubhouse in 2020, I've watched all of his TED Talks. I've watched him establish himself as a thought leader, for producing the right mindset for personal success and business success. And I'm really excited to see his new funding program and where everything goes. And the reason why is, again, the world is changing. And, we're creating tech prop and disrupting industries. And we need thought leaders like David to help us to strategize and to, get that leg up in the world that we all need right now. Because if we look around, we can see things are changing, and we're going to have to pick up the pace for us to be successful. So I want to say kudos to you, David. Thank you for all that you have done over the years. Just know that there have been people like me who have been watching, who have been gathering those gems that you have dropped. And, never understate the value that you have in this world. Because trust me, I watched every TED Talk, and I have built myself up, watching you. And I want people to pay attention as we thought lead our way into the next chapter of the world. Thank you, and I yield my mic.
Oh, wow. You made my day. Thank you. That's all. It's amazing because we were talking about, 40 million views, and yet you feel as if everybody's listening. There's also the times that you feel like nobody's listening. And then every day, somebody reminds you that you are on a mission, and the commissions follow, but you are on a mission to empower over 1 billion people by finding 1,000 people like you, planting seeds under trees I may never sit under or know, but I know there's people like you that are listening and thinking and aligned with my belief that we could enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential, that we can be kind to our future self simply by doing good deeds. And it's the mindset, the heart set, and the handset that we teach, surrounding ourselves with the right people and the right ideas. Every single Friday, every single Wednesday, I, as chairman of the Napoleon Hill Institute, have started free Wednesday trainings for Napoleon Hill Institute. I do lives every day, meetups like the one here in Denver, 200 a year. One yesterday in Minnesota, the day before in Indianapolis, before in Chicago, San Diego, just offering how can I be of service or value. And I hope that it inspires you to be of service or value as well. The world is changing. What I perceive to be 3 things we should focus in on in order to create a distinctive advantage of helping people for the sake of helping people, not I'll be happy when, but for the sake of helping people. One, yes, we have to know technology. If you're not practicing AI and other technologies, if you're not seeking for the best, then you're going to be left. If you're not reading, we need to know the difference between what's real and how to develop our imaginations in the context of what's real, and how to create, materialize, and monetize for ourselves. And then how to sell. We are losing the art. If I could get my kids to knock on 150 doors a day, whatever it is they want to sell, I think that would be the best education and experience I could give them at their age. So everyone out there that wants to assist me in empowering others to empower others to make a lot of money, to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun, let's focus in on those 3 areas to create a distinctive advantage so that we have the ability, the capability of helping others to help others. Thank you so much. You made my day. Like I said, sometimes we think everybody's listening and sometimes we think nobody's listening. Either way, we're not right. All right. I'm either humble or I'm about to be. That was last month's takeaway. Nick of WOM, we are parting and we are in the second half. What do we got?
Absolutely. We have so many friends on all different platforms, but I will tell you, we are blessed with abundance, especially on Clubhouse with our live guests. So it's a pleasure and an honor to pass it over. Excuse me. We had Paul, who is patiently waiting. Paul, thank you so much for your patience, my friend. It's good to see you here. Unmute yourself and either share that takeaway or hit us with a question.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, thank you for all your work. I have a question that I'd like to have you just talk a little bit about. In the objective we have in thinking correctly and not being outcome-based, but having faith before we see the results, what's some thoughts that we can consider to avoid the trap of needing evidence? But even more than that, when we start to get evidence, because it happens, how do we avoid using that evidence as evidence and then losing track with what we're supposed to be doing with our mind? Does that make question make sense?
Ironically, I was just thinking, wow, he articulated that question so well because of the subtleties and complexities. I actually understood the question. No one's ever put it that way, and it gave me clarity about understanding evidence. I always say it's wisdom and faith that shortens the distance of resistance when there's no evidence and the evidence is contrary to where we want to be, which evokes fear. Fear will evoke the ego to react to fear, and then it's how we respond to the reaction of fear when we're worried, upset, anxious, frustrated, angry, separate, inferior, or superior, worried, or whatever it may be. And so for me, understanding what I am doing behaviorally with, see, this idea of detachment is a predisposition. You mentioned having faith before. Faith, obviously, wisdom, obviously, predispositions to anything happening. But this attachment of surrender confuses people. They think, okay, I'm going to surrender to God. I'm going to surrender and allow everything to happen. So I'm going to sit at home, high on my mom's couch, broke, sick, dreaming about what I want. No, the surrender comes before. Before. The surrender, the faith comes before. And when things interfere with my wisdom, when I respond inadequately to the reaction to fear, and when faith is interfering, when those two things I don't have aligned, there's only one thing to do. There's only one thing that illustrates free, and it's not resisting it. It's not going over it, under it, through it, around it, lying to it, cheating it, denying it, or supplying it, like you said. It's simply stopping. When we are responding to the reaction of fear, when we're worried, upset, anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful, whatever it may be, and we respond in the interfering way between us in our faith and our wisdom, the only thing that we can do is stop. Now, it's easier said than done, just like saying thank you, right? Saying thank you seems so easy. 0.1 seconds, it's free. Dave Meltzer told me to say thank you and my life will change. But by the night, most of us won't say thank you. The next day, most of us won't say thank you. And within 3 days, most of us won't say thank you. But it's one of the easiest things to do to impact your life. Well, stopping when you're responding to the reaction of fear also seems to be really simple. But I lean into the simple because I know the simple things to do are simple not to do. And I know I only have one action that illustrates my free will. And it's when I'm interfering with my wisdom, I'm interfering with my faith, I just need to stop. Breathe through my nose and drop. What does that do? That allows me to recollect, remember, and remind myself to the wisdom and the faith of the omniscient, all-powerful, and all-knowing. And then I'm able and capable of providing value. I'm able and capable of reminding, remembering, recollecting what I want, who I can help, who can help me, and how best to get it done. And I reprioritize from a position of faith and wisdom, of surrender. And so what I want people to understand is that we only have one form of free will, and it's stopping when you're interfering with your higher self. It's stopping when you're interfering with your progression towards your potential. It's stopping when you interfere with your faith. It's stopping when you interfere with your wisdom. Then dropping, reminding, remembering, and recollecting, so you can roll into what you want according to the circumstances of the day, who you can help, who can help you, and how best you can get that done in your divine direction, turning that detour into a divine direction in itself, reprioritizing. So instead of searching for what you already have, you are now applying your why to have more of it by dissipating, dissolving, and disappearing the interference. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I'm glad you think so. It must have resonated with you on some level. I hope it resonated with others as well. That was an amazing articulation of a great question. I judge people by the questions. I know you shouldn't judge people, Nick, but I do judge people by the questions they ask. It's an illustration of their understanding, at least. So I put some quantitative analysis. You have a deep understanding of this stuff, and I appreciate you. Please come back and participate more in our stuff. And where are you located?
Michigan.
Right on. Nick's from Milford. Half my family's from Southfield, Bloomfield Hills. So I like everything about Michigan except for the Wolverines.
I love it. Well, thank you, Dave. That was a great answer, and I do get it, because the simplest statement is, when you start to confuse the faith and the evidence, just stop doing it.
Yep, stop. You got it. Simple things to do are simple not to do. Milford finest, Milford, Michigan's finest, the Nick of Wam. Who do we have up next?
And Paul, from one Michigander to another, my friend, thank you again for joining us.
I thought that was a bird, a Michigander.
That's what we're called. I promise you. It wasn't like Andrew Porter.
I call you
yesterday.
a Sparty. I call you a Sparty.
I will take that 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I think actually, if I remember correctly, me and Paul, I think we're from actually neighboring towns.
Oh, right.
We're literally right next. Yeah, because you're in Highland, right? Yeah, that's the best, man. Well, I will be at Highland House coming for Christmas, so I hope we can get together maybe. But with that said, let's do it. I would love that. I can't wait. Well, let's keep this train rocking and rolling. We got a lot of friends here. Hatul,
fourth quarter.
Oh, you're 1 minute early. You're beating the clock here. But yes, we're putting our fours up for the fourth quarter. And we have our friend Hatul here, who is one consistent mofo in a good way. Thank you, Hatul, for always showing up and being a part of this community. Please unmute yourself and share your takeaway of the month or your question for David today.
Thank you, Nick. Always inspires me and picks me up to be here and always be in this community. My takeaway, and I'm sure this stuff Dave will pick up and tag team on, is that for me, where I am, life's just a game of beliefs. And it's the reflective question of, am I coming from truth? Am I coming from the divine, the almighty, the unlimited? Or am I coming from conditioning? Am I coming from the finite? And it's like there's nothing happening. It's just life goes on. But then actually, when I think about this mental battle and this belief level, this paradigm battle, it's massive. So that's just something that's been very live for me. And it's then also being comfortable with and having the deservingness to believe that I deserve to be in the rooms I've been in, and that my goals are not too big. So that's my takeaway and a few related things to it. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. And I love, the names of our friends in our neighborhood and the frequency that we exist. I just want to tell you, I love the name Hatul. I have a client named Nimrod, Hardik. I got some great people in our neighborhood with some phenomenal names, but Hatul is awesome. To the measure, we are our beliefs. I elevate that even one further to understand that I want everyone to think about, maybe we are what we feel, not what we believe. Because we give meaning to everything we see, we give meaning to our beliefs, and it makes us feel a certain way. And when we feel at ease, we are part of the omniscient, all powerful, and all knowing. We are able and capable of intelligence, intuition, inspiration. And so to take a step higher in its own frequency, when people say, I am what I do, I am what I say, I am what I think, I am what I believe. Yes, 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 yes. But I am what I feel, because I give meaning to what I do, say, think, and believe. And it's that meaning that creates the expansion. It's the meaning that allows me to not limit myself, to tell you I'm going to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. I'm on a mission, and the commissions are following. And to that measure, it is such a great way to understand the mathematical equation of luck. What I pay attention to, so I pick and choose what I want, and I pay attention to it, vision boards and all types of different methodologies and modalities that exist. I give my intention to thinking, doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing. And what I pay attention to and what I give intention to equals the coincidences, the coinciding of the universe, the mathematical equation of luck. So, hi, Tool, I know that you are what you believe, but you are what you do, say, think, feel, and believe. Use all 5 levels of attention in order to manifest, monetize, materialize everything you desire from the heart, from the time your heart starts till it stops, called the human experience. Let's figure out what you're doing to interfere with it. Hi, Tool, Nimrod, Hardik. Good to see all of you fantastic nomenclatures in our neighborhood. All right, everyone, we're having so much fun here.
Could I take 5 seconds for an altruistic plug?
Yeah, please hit it up, baby. This is our neighborhood.
The Unstoppable Foundation. If you haven't heard of it, you have to look it up. I've got experience and expertise in social and economic development, and the organization that Dave is chairman of, it checks boxes like I've never seen. So one of my missions is to build an acquisitive group with 100% of profit going to charity, and I may not reinvent the wheel. So have an awesome VIP dinner, and do check out the Unstoppable Foundation.
Oh, I really appreciate that plug. I didn't see that coming. And yes, I'm blessed to be the chairman of the Unstoppable Foundation, chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, and the chief chancellor of Junior Achievement University. Junior Achievement has received its 3rd nomination in a row for a Nobel Peace Prize. It's the 7th largest charity in the world, but the smallest of the 3 is Unstoppable. The one that needs the most support is Unstoppable, and we're doing our best to do great work to change the lives. Founded by Cynthia Kersey, who wrote the book Unstoppable Women, and started to help empowering young women in Africa by creating sustainable villages. So anyway, I appreciate that. Hi, Tool. Nimrod, Hardik, appreciate you guys as well. All right, Nick, there's 11. That's my lucky number, 111. October 11th will be the 28th anniversary. I just had my 28th anniversary with my wife. Now I'm going to have the 28th anniversary of Free Friday Trainings. Nick of WAM. Do you have enough people that want to ask questions or give me takeaways?
Yeah, we got a lot of friends.
All right.
It's a pleasure to pass it over. I believe Kim, who has been patiently waiting. She is more interested than interesting. She always has an incredible takeaway or a question. So Kim, happy Friday. It is always good to see you here. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away. Looks like she may be having some technical difficulties. As a reminder for everybody, the unmute button is the lower right-hand corner of your screen. I see our good friend Fred Moskowitz has just joined the stage as well. Fred, my friend, I know you got a takeaway or a question. What do you got? Man, I'm 0 for 2. Goodness gracious. All right.
Where have all the flowers gone?
I know we have a reliable, and there
Oh,
it is.
so is there.
There's Fred.
I lost the unmute button. How is that possible? How do you lose?
We hear you, brother.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Question I have for today, David, is the unfortunate situation when you encounter someone that negotiates. We come to an agreement on all the terms and parameters, and then after that, they come back almost immediately after and try to renegotiate. And that always leaves such a horrible taste in my mouth. And would love to hear your thoughts on that and best ways to move ahead from that. It's an unpleasant situations, but they happen from time to time.
They happen all the time because time, value, and emotion change. And I take accountability when it happens. I take accountability for maybe not trusting and vetting in the appropriate manner, but I also take accountability because I haven't created the appropriate go, no-go plan that allows me to adjust and manage and develop the expectations when time, emotion, and value changes so that people feel comfortable telling me no. People feel comfortable asking for alterations and adjustments to the opportunity without having to lie, manipulate, cheat, or deny us. And so when we look at this issue, which is omnipresent, the reason it's omnipresent is when we come to an agreement with others, anybody, business or personal, if it's written, implied, if it's oral, if it has consideration or not, it's irrelevant. The minute we come to an agreement, Fred, time, emotion, and value will change. And if we don't prepare for time, emotion, and value changes, best way I know is to utilize a go, no go plan. The best way is by utilizing a go, no go plan to allow us to reconsider, adjust according to the circumstances, time, emotion, and value changes, which allows us to come together and say, here was our intention when we made this agreement. Now the situation and circumstances have changes. We know our intention is to help one another, collaborate, coordinate, to make money, help people, and have fun together. How can we adjust the agreement so that it works for both of us according to how things have changed, instead of creating a structure and a framework that is non-negotiable? And so as we, my new book coming out in Super Bowl, Don't Do Business with Dicks, I talk about not negotiating to the last penny, always being fair, and not doing business with dicks. If you trust and vet effectively, you won't be doing business with dicks. Now you just have to conform to a better, abundant way of negotiating, not to the last penny, and in the guise of fairness, utilizing a go, no-go plan in order to effectuate this coordination and collaboration of how time, emotion, and value changes. And if anybody wants the go, no-go plan to understand this open-minded way of facilitating, making easy agreements that are concrete by already preparing for the changes that are definitely going to occur, because the minute you come up with an agreement, implied, written, oral, with consideration, without, time, emotion, and value are going to change. Prepare for it. Not possible in some situations because of laws and regulations, but about 80 to 90% of all agreements can utilize a go, no-go plan and be adjusted. Some just can't because of rules, regulations, and laws, but most can. Also remember, whenever Dave Meltzer gives you a statistic, other than 100% of the things you do now get done, 99% of all statistics are made up. All right, that's my favorite statistic. Fred, it's always good to see you. Come see us on Mondays in our networking group. He's been a multi-year member of our private coaching and networking group, where I personally answer questions and make introductions, and the network has thousands of people that want to help each other and know people that help each other. Nick Awam, this will be our last question. Who's your favorite friend today to close out? Who's our closer? I'm a middle reliever. Who's our closer?
I actually want to utilize the opportunity to show some love for all of our friends online. We see you guys there, of course, with these Ask Me Anythings. We show a little bit of extra love to the Breakfast with Champions for our live guests, but I want to take a question from online to close out. And that question is, what advice do
you get my email where to get the go, no go plan? I don't think I even told them.
Absolutely. That's just david@dmeltzer.com. So for any of the guides and exercises that David mentioned today, whether it's the go, no go plan, whether it was the 5 to Thrive sales strategy, or even if it was the open-ended question template guide, make sure to email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. Before our final question, we have coming on from online, which is, what advice do you have to someone that wants to help people but is in trouble landing their message?
Wow. And basically the question is, I have good intentions, but I'm not landing my message. So what we want to do is to practice our message. See, the only way we get better, the only way we progress is to practice. Most of the time, anybody that wants to progress, the answer is practice. Now, you have to practice with a definiteness of purpose. You have to practice with intentionality. And so we also need to practice in a consistent way, because 2 minutes a day of practice is worth 2 hours on a Saturday. But most people can't stay disciplined and consistent in their practice. So they go the extra mile and they'll practice 10 hours on a Saturday. And then they'll use that to justify why they're not where they want to be or better. Instead of practicing every day, articulating the quantitative value of the message you want to land. Practice on your phone, practice with your friends, practice with people who you don't know. Practice, practice, practice landing your message. Ask questions, give suggestions, find out what people like, what they don't like, what they know and what they don't know, what works and what they don't work. So you can what? Ask them, would it help you if? Boom, here's my message. Do you know anyone that can help me with my message? But I'm going to practice a minimum of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour a day on landing my message. And only one thing's going to happen if you do it 7 days a week. It's going to aggregate all the people who understand and resonate with that message. It's going to accelerate the growth of the number of people that will understand and that message will land. And most importantly, the people with that message that will land is going to exponentially compound in its numbers. But it only happens in one way: to pay attention to that message, to give it your intention every single day, 7 days a week. And those coincidences, the coinciding will happen. Do not be an extra miler. Don't use that to justify why you're not where you want to be. Be an empty miler. Do it every day, consistently, persistently, in the pursuit of your potential. And I promise you, the acceleration, the aggregation, and the compounding impacts will occur faster and better than you ever believed. Remember, that resolution is there for you. Stop interfering with it. Nick of WOM, we got 1 minute in the house. Let's close out this room. I'm going to let you close out on Clubhouse. Well, I guess we can do it right here. Come on in. We're going to close out this room. I'm going to hand it off. Just remind people we're going to be today, where we're going to be next week. We got 200 cities. Give them my email for all the guides and exercises, david@dmeltzer.com. But it's all yours. And I want to thank you, Nick of WOM, for ruining my marriage and my friendship with my daughters.
It's a pleasure and an honor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us for another incredible Free Friday training. Today's topic has been Takeaway of the Month and Ask Me Anything. And we want to show some love for everybody online as well as in the Breakfast with Champions for their incredible takeaways and questions. As we mentioned at the top of the hour and throughout the training, we are in Denver, Colorado today. We're going to be hosting a meetup at 9:30 a.m. Mountain.
Hour and a half from now.
Yep, about an hour and a half from now, 90 minutes. So 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time or local time here in Denver, and that's going to be at Waddle Park. If anybody would like to join us in person, just email us directly, david@dmeltzer.com. If you would like the guides and exercises from today's training, the ones that David mentioned, and of course, I'm probably going to forget some, but we got the 5 to Thrive, we have open question template, we have the go, no-go plan, and I'm sure many more. So make sure to email David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. And of course, we would not have another training if we were not inviting, but not obligating people to join us in person, whether we are on our way to over 200 cities this year alone, of course, hosting interviews, keynote speeches, holding courts, meetups, TV shows.
#1 TV shows.
masterminds, VIP dinners, and everything in between in all of these cities. We are in Denver today. We're going to be in Los Alamitos next week for the #1 show on Cheddar. Go fund yourself. Then it is off to Boise, Idaho, New York City for Ad Week, Guatemala for Business Day. We have Washington, D.C. for the Aspire Business Tour, Los Angeles, California at SoFi Stadium for LA Tech Week, and then Miami, Florida for the Lamborghini Heritage event, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot to keep up with. David and I need our text community so we get the reminders we're going to be. So if you'd like those invitations but not obligations, just text us at 949-298-2905. Of course, we will be back with our community this Monday for a little bit of Ask Me Anything. Next Wednesday for some Napoleon Hill Institute training, and same place, same time next Friday for another Free Friday training. But in the meantime, thank you again for everybody for joining us. And as we sign this off, I will leave you all with David's favorite quote, which is to be more interested than interesting, and be kind to your future self and do good deeds. For our webinar, hit it, Gigi.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs, so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.